Hello, everyone. For those of you that are coming from Chapter 1, welcome back. From those of you who are just now listening into your first one, I hope that you go and listen to Chapter 1, but the good thing about this book is that it's not really in any direct order. They just kind of go over the 78 areas of thought, so each chapter is like its own entity. And for those of you that are new listeners, I am reading The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. So I'm going to pick up where we left off on chapter 2, or book 2, however you want to say it. I'm going to call it chapter 2, even though I know it's not chapters. Think of the universe as an eternal creative unfolding. Trees blossom, cells replicate, rivers forge new tributaries. The world pushes with productive energy, and everything that exists on this planet is driven by that energy. Every manifestation of this unfolding is doing its own work on behalf of the universe, each in its own way, true to its own creative impulse. And I made a comment here, and I said, our existence is truly insignificant. And when I say that, I don't mean that we're not special. I would have to say that every action has a reaction and everybody makes a difference, sure. But my belief is that we are here as energetic conduits. And, if you look at how long the universe has been alive versus how long we are alive, we are here for just a blink of time. And so that could be taken one of two ways. It could either be taken in a way that's very negatively existential, or it can be taken as such a freeing thing, like to believe that your existence is literally for you. And that's kind of just how I look at it. Anyways, I'm just going to continue. Just as trees grow flowers and fruits, humanity creates works of arts. The Golden Gate Bridge, the White Album, Hagia Sophia, the Sphinx, the Space Shuttle, and the Audubon, Claire de Lune, the Colosseum in Rome, the Phillips screwdriver, the iPad, Philadelphia cheesesteak. Look around you. There are so many remarkable accomplishments to appreciate. Each of these is humanity being true to itself, as a hummingbird is true to itself by building a nest, a peach tree by bearing fruit, and a nimbus cloud by producing rains. And I made a note here and I said, the difference is that we have become so unnatural. And I want to talk about that for just a quick second. We have become so far from what is within accordance to how nature operates. We're consistently trying to find ways to, beat impermanence, and live in a way that's so far from what we're supposed to be doing as a civilization, like as a species as a whole. And so I kind of agree with that, and I kind of don't agree with it. I mean, I guess you could say that humanity is something different than it's a concept that we've come up with that's different from how we behaved when we were living in accordance to nature. But I don't know. I just had that little thought. Anyways, I'm going to continue. Every nest, every peach, every raindrop, and every great work is different. Some trees may appear to make more beautiful fruits than others, and some humans may appear to compose greater works than others. The taste and beauty are in the eye of the beholder. How does the cloud know when to rain? How does the tree know when spring begins? How does the bird know when it's time to build a new nest? The universe functions like a clock. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep, a time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. These rhythms are not set by us. We are all participating in a larger creative act. We are not conducting. We are being conducted. The artist is on a cosmic timetable, just like all of nature. If you have an idea you're excited about, you don't bring it to life. It's not, oh, sorry. If you have an idea you're excited about and you don't bring it to life, it's not uncommon for the idea to find its voice through another maker. This isn't because the other artist stole your idea, but because the idea's time has come. And I wrote in here, I said, everything that exists has been predestined to do so. And I do believe that theory that when it comes to time, and okay, this is going to be a really quick, a little bit of a quick thing. So way back when, and like between 500 and 600 BC, this guy named Anaximander, he conceptualized so many different things. But one thing that he conceptualized was the idea of apeiron, which is the boundless and the infinite. And they lived in a very theistic society around that time. And his teacher, he was a student of, was Thales, and he was the first great pre-Socratic philosopher. And Anaximander was like, listening to Thales talk about how the earth was basically suspended in water. And, where most people believed that a demigod named Atlas was holding up earth and it was hemispherical and just a lot of different things. Anaximander did a lot. I have so much love for that guy. But my point is, he was like looking at everything around him, and where they were starting to grasp the reality of thinking of different things that they could make out of the world. And it was very much, if it's tangible, it makes sense. And he was like, what if we're just existing in infinite nothingness? What if we're just suspended in this boundless, infinite pool of nothingness? And so, for him to be that person living in that time period, experiencing life that way, and then to have this little nugget of a thought kind of reaffirms my theory about the fact that, we all know time isn't linear. So I just have this, I guess, idea that anything that's supposed to exist will find its way to the creator at that time, and it will plant a little nugget, a little download into that person's brain, because that person is the one that can materialize it. And without Anaxamander's discoveries or ideas or thoughts, so many of our, later scientists and philosophers and physicists would not be anywhere near as far as they have come, just because of that one catalyst that made this huge reaction. So in this book, where they say, because the idea's time has come, it really does reaffirm the idea that we are just conduits of things that are already here and already have been here and will become. And that's it. I'm going to end it there, but I'm going to continue. In this great unfolding, ideas and thoughts, themes and songs and other works of art exist in the aether and ripen on schedule, ready to find expression in the physical world. As artists, it is our job to draw down this information, transmute it, and share it. We are all translators for messages the universe is broadcasting. I'm going to pause right there. I believe that is humanity's purpose. I do believe that deeply into my core, that we are here translating the downloads from the world that we receive. And this isn't to say that I'm discounting religion or anything like that, because I'm not. But just within my own self, I do believe that energetically everything around us is talking to us. And if we take a second to listen and we hear it, we hold on to it and we make it into something. And I believe that that's our purpose. I'm going to continue. The best artists tend to be the ones with the most sensitive antennae to draw in the energy resonating at a particular moment. Many great artists first develop sensitive antennae not to create art but to protect themselves. They have to protect themselves because everything hurts more. They feel everything more deeply. Often art arrives in movements. Bonna's architecture, abstract expressionism, French New Wave cinema, beat poetry, punk rock, to name a few from recent history. These movements appear like a wave. Some artists are able to read the culture and position themselves to ride that swell. Others might see the wave and choose to swim against the current. We are all antennae for creative thought. Some transmissions come on strong, others more faint. If your antenna isn't sensitively tuned, you're likely to lose the data in the noise, particularly since the signals coming through are often more subtle than the content we collect through sensory awareness. They are energetic more than tactile, intuitively perceived more than consciously recorded. Most of the time we are gathering data from the world through the five senses. With the information that's being transmitted on higher frequencies, we are channeling energetic material that can't be physically grasped. It defies logic in the same way that an electron can be in two places at once. This elusive energy is of great worth, though so few people are open enough to hold it. And I put a little heart there because I believe that as a society, we've grown so far away from discovering. We're very rooted in what we believe to be true now that we forget that nothing's actually true. We fight testing against our own principles and our own reality, and we fight testing against what we believe to be true because we live in a very egocentric society where what we believe is more important than what's actually there. So let's say you're talking to someone and they tell you a bit of information that contradicts something that you've previously believed to be true. Your first reaction would probably be to defend your belief and to defend your right and to defend yourself. But it turns out in the end that you were actually in the wrong. We're so personable with information. We take on information and hold it close to us as if it like that's our identity, when that can be farther from the truth. And so when it says so few people are open enough to hold it, I do also believe that we have so much growing to do as a world to believe that information will pass through us and we don't have to grasp onto it and make it a part of our identity. It can be something that changes and we can think differently or things can be differently. Like the life is opinion, the universe is change. Marcus Aurelius said that in Meditations, and I wholeheartedly view the world as that. What we do in life is our opinion, and how we live our life is our opinion, and what we believe is our opinion. And the universe is constantly changing around us at speeds faster than you can ever imagine. Anyways, I'm going to continue. How do we pick up on a signal that can neither be heard nor be defined? The answer is not to look for it. And I made a quick little note and I said everything that comes was meant to be at some point. And that just kind of goes back to what I was saying a few minutes ago. I'm going to continue. Nor do we attempt to predict or analyze our way into it. Instead, we create an open space that allows it. A space so free of the normal overpacked condition of our minds that it functions as a vacuum, drawing down the ideas that the universe is making available. This freedom is not as difficult to achieve as one might think. We all start with it. As children, we experience much less interference between receiving ideas and internalizing them. We accept new information with delight instead of making comparisons to what we already believe. We live in the moment rather than worrying about future consequences. We are spontaneous more than analytical. We are curious, not jaded. Even the most ordinary experiences in life are met with a sense of awe. Deep sadness and intense excitement can come within moments of each other. There's no facade and no attachment to a story. Artists who are able to continually create great works throughout their lives often manage to preserve these childlike qualities. Practicing a way of being that allows you to see the world through uncorrupted, innocent eyes can free you to act in concert with the universe's timetable. And here's my end of chapter kind of notes that I wrote. The best thing that we can do in this lifetime is live with the understanding that we won't know everything, and that's okay. Knowing things and clinging to the idea that life and everything in it requires some sort of deep analytical understanding in order to receive appreciation mutes curiosity and joy. The world isn't good or bad, it just is. Nothing more needs to be understood. We rob ourselves of the joy and the magic of being alive by trying to understand our purpose here. And a lot of us, are trying to find ways to further beat natural selection to where we can live even longer and be here even longer. And it's just not in accordance with nature. And because we're finding, and that's its own separate thing, but we're also chasing these things that are imaginary. People will absolutely destroy themselves in the insides to chase a piece of paper, to chase money, which is a farce, and it just becomes so taxing on who someone is that their life truly has no higher purpose other than, devoting it to that. And I was reading something from Nietzsche, and he was saying how the human race is enslaved to itself because we feel as though working hard um, is what makes us of value. And if we have something and we didn't work hard for it, then it's of no value. And that's where we place our value. And you see it in uh, expensive clothes and expensive handbags and, things like that, expensive cars, all of these luxurious things that don't necessarily contribute to your experience, like to your spiritual experience, your higher experience. There are things that ground you in this thought wave to where your value comes from the things that you have, not what and who you are and how you've grown as a being. And so I think that we're just so far away from that, and we think that if we have everything that everybody says we should want, we'll have the answers to the world and the universe and to ourselves, and you just won't, and that has to be okay. Anyways, thank you guys for listening in. Feel free to let me know what you think if you have any thoughts you'd like to share, and I can't wait to get into chapter 3.